I have no like delusions. Like to be a professional athlete, professional football player, you have to have what we say with our team is that each person on the team has they're like the X-Men. They're superheroes. They have a many talents, but they have a superhero trait. To get in the NFL, you have to have a superhero trait, whatever that may be.
What was
With
yours?
what's that?
What was yours?
I mean, I honestly, I think it's like the will to get up and not stop. Like not stop. Like I remember in conditioning in a game, like guys get tired. Like that's real. Just because you're a pro athlete, like guys get tired. They have their hands on their knees and they're like wiped out. Now, if I'm super conditioned and I gotta, you know, cover a punt or a guy gotta block a guy in a punt or cover something, like I'm I'm not a better athlete. I'm just better conditioned and I will not get tired. Right. And that's,
Yeah.
believe it or not, like there's guys who run 4.3, 4.4 who are linebackers, but they're exhausted. Now they run a 4.7, 4.8. Right.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I just brought this guy down to my level. Now we're going to see where the rubber meets the road because now it's about, you know, perseverance and pushing through that barrier. And most of the time, because in the NFL, as you know, there are anomalies. Like James Harrison could be 6 feet, 260, 270. And then you have, at the time we had Mo Lewis, 6'5", 280. Those are anomalies. But
Yeah.
for the most part, 6'1", 6'2", 225, 230, 240 is a lot of parity, right? And when there's a lot of parity, now it comes down to their mentality, to their mindset, and what they are telling themselves, well, how they're speaking to themselves in between plays.
Yeah.
And that's like, as you know, I know you know it well. I mean, this is your profession. I want to hear all about your stuff, but
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the gift of like how you talk to yourself. And there's been moments where I talk to myself in a horrible way. I wouldn't let someone talk to me that way, but I'm talking to myself that way. And like, Mark, what are you doing? Like you're wearing this jersey. Like what? It's not a trick. You didn't get lucky.
Yeah. I
You know
know,
what I mean?
right?
Like,
Yeah.
but I'm like, oh, I'm lucky. I don't deserve to be here. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
you, at some point, I understand things have to bounce your way and there is some luck involved.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you did earn it. Like, let's give yourself a moment, right? And that's when you pull yourself out of it and you say, I deserve to be here. Like, I'm doing special things, but you forget, you
Well,
go to
there's a moment. It's like almost like I heard this great speaker in recovery say it once, like that, it's imposter syndrome, right? But like Bill Belichick's going to stop practice and be like, gentlemen, we have an imposter.
Oh,
Magna, get your, that's in
oh,
our
yeah.
minds. We think
Oh,
that's
no,
what's
that's
going to
real.
happen.
That when he stops practice, I look over my shoulder. I'm like, I said, oh, geez, I hope he doesn't mention my name because the probability of him saying something positive about my name is very low.
Yeah.
Right. And by the way, that's anyone, I remember Bill
Yeah.
Parcells stopped practice. There was an ISO. This was Jets training camp and there was an ISO and there was a running back named Odell Collins from Georgia, I think Georgia. And he was like 6'1", 250. And ISO came my way. And as I hit it, something happened. I didn't like turn my back. I just kind of didn't face it up. So Parcells blew the whistle. He stopped practice. And he goes, can I ask you a question, son? I said, yes, sir. He goes, are you afraid of contact? And I was like, I said, no, sir. And he goes, oh, good, because we're going to run it again. And now you know it's coming. and I was thinking, all right, this is great. I just got to run through this guy's face, right? Well, he knows too, and he's a great athlete. So he's trying to run through my face. The amount of velocity we hit each other and we stood each other up, it was cringing.
Yeah.
And everyone like gave the whole thing, right? And then he stopped practice again and he said, hey, Mark. I looked over my shoulder, he went. And I was thinking, he doesn't miss anything, right? He doesn't miss anything. Yeah, but you worry. You definitely worry and you have the imposter syndrome. And moments like that don't exactly help. all of this stuff. And I'm dying to hear your thoughts on where where sports are today. But
Yeah.
those moments don't help us. Like the way it was coaching back then and the way it's coaching today, we both know it's
Yeah.
vastly different.
Yes,
I mean,
it is
vastly
vastly different. And you know, I listened to so many of those books, right, about the head coaches and what, you know, the Parcells one and the Belichick one, and you know, Al Davis. I just pour over those books, and you know, those it ain't the mental board of health we're talking about.
No.
You know, it's just,
I mean,
it's just not.
no,
It's
those
not.
guys are responsible for more therapy sessions than you could possibly imagine. Like,
Yeah.
I still carry it. You know,
Uh,
I still carry some of that stuff. I'm like, man, I'm never
Me
going to
too.
forget that. I'm never going to
Yeah.
get that. I remember there was a day where we were hanging out before practice on the field, and everyone's kind of shooting the stuff, and I was standing next to a kid named JP Machado. He was a free agent from Illinois. He actually ended up making the team and playing a lot.
Yeah,
He was
I
just a
remember him.
blue collar player, great player. And Parcells walked by practice, and he goes, "How you guys doing?" I said, "Great, coach." I said immediately. I didn't hesitate. I'm like, great, coach, right?" And he looked at JP, and JP goes, "I'm doing all right, coach." And I went. I stepped backwards because I knew something was coming. and Parcells took 2 steps, turned around and looked at him, and he said, "What did you just say?" He said, I'm doing all right, coach." Again. And he said, "Son, you play for the New York Jets. When I ask you a question about how you're doing, you better say, 'Coach, I am doing effing great.' You're very fortunate to be here, son. Don't ever forget that." And he walked away, and I was like, I'm so happy I said I'm doing great. I just spit it out. I just wanted him away from me, you know. And this guy's like 6'4", 270,
Yeah.
huge human being.